Alright, so I'm in the drunk tank, and who do I see but the little kid from the incident when I was in Santa Barbara County the first time. This is the guy that, okay, this kid didn't have anything. Nothing. It was like probably like his second or third time in jail. He would always like cry to me about his girlfriend. He'd be like, dude, I'm pretty sure she's sucking someone's dick right now. I'm like, well, that's pretty, A, that's pretty graphic, and B, that's like a really good, precise guess. Can't you just be fucking someone? Why does she have to be sucking someone's dick? He's like, when you know, bro, I just know. And I'd console this little bitch, right? Little bitch ass dude. Console him, rub his back, Eskimo kisses, all that. Give him free heroin. And I'd always tell him that it was going to be okay. See, back then I was on this total delusional trip, right? My ego had gotten falsely inflated, right? I mean, really, like, think about this for a second. And that's why I know people, like, didn't like the Breakdown series, but it was important because it kind of, like, led up to this series. And you got to remember, I was squatting in abandoned houses. My parents had kicked me out. My wife had left me while I was in prison the second time. Didn't have a car. Didn't have shit. Got out, had nothing. I was thankful that I had a hot girl that was willing to be with me. But we were like bottom of the barrel alcoholics. My whole like plan in life was that I was going to find second chance, lotto scratcher tickets and win like millions of dollars. And then I showed everyone. I got to do what I want. I got to be homeless. I got to squat in abandoned houses, and I won millions of dollars on the lotto second chance act thing. And that never happened. And then kind of out of nowhere, the whole Antoine resurrection thing. I met Zach. Documentary just came out of nowhere. The fucking screenwriter of Fight Club was writing a movie about my life. I was popping up in magazines and stuff. And then the whole nonprofit and the botched event that never happened. So my ego was huge, and I was really like on some trip where A, I thought that I was bigger than I was. And B, why do I keep doing the A and B thing? That's fucking annoying. I sound like some manager at like a software development company. Okay, listen. We got to get these new numbers going ASAP, guys. A, we do really well. B, we do better than well. Go get them, guys. I don't know. Do people really talk like that? I don't know. I don't do that kind of shit for a living. It's kind of a lame joke. I apologize. I regret it now. And we're only 3 minutes into the video. I almost want to just turn it off and be like, you know what? Fuck that. Shit was stupid. But I'm not going to do that. We're on a time crunch. So, when I went in there, the point of saying all that shit, though, was when I went in there, I was about helping people. I was about helping people that were incarcerated because that was my cause. I'm that guy. The guys that like win an Academy Award, and instead of just saying the shit they should be saying, like, thank you for my beautiful wife, thank you for my parents for never giving up on me. No, they want to go on some political shit, Man, can't. The rainforests are being smothered in fucking Argentina or wherever. The Amazon rainforest. You don't give a fuck about that, fool. You're having orgies up in the Hollywood Hills. If you cared about the Amazon rainforest, you'd be out there protesting. You don't give a fuck. You're just going up on doing your Academy Award speech to try to make yourself look more selfless than you are. You don't care. What was the point of that? God, man. That's what happens when I don't do introductions. Then I say random stupid shit that I regret immediately after I say it. Point is, though, I was delusional going in and I wanted to help everybody. And I end up getting shit on. I consoled this guy. I was like, dude, she's not sucking anyone's dick. Here's a chunk of heroin, man. Boof that, forget about it. He's like, dude, you're so right. After I boof that, I feel about 10 times better. I'm not even thinking about that hoe anymore. I'm like, yeah, I know, man. Boofing heroin's what's up. He's like, right on. Right on, man. Can I have a suit? They always want shit out of you. So, all right. Then, So then I get all these guys' packages, and I know you guys already know all this, but I'm just like reiterating just how bad these bush dwellers are. And I hope you guys are watching it. Probably not, because they don't have Wi-Fi capabilities in bushes, but I hope one of you see this someday and you're like, man, that guy was really nice to me. Shouldn't have smashed him out like that. But after, so I get all these guys' packages, and then the repa, this little so-called professional boxer, even though he told me on plenty, he's like, yeah, man, I'm a male stripper. I'm like, oh, so you suck dick for money? He's like, well, no. When they ask, I say no. Yeah, right, dude. Good one. What male stripper isn't sucking dick? This is actually something I've never thought about, but I'm just going to go ahead and assume that if you're stripping and you're wearing, what is it that they wear? Speedos with like your Vaseline. Oh, dick sucking? No way, man. Nah. Gotta draw the line somewhere, man. I don't do shit like that. Yeah, right. That's what that guy was doing. That's okay. I can't be like one of those guys I've been like an IV drug user my whole life. I don't care. If you want to suck a dick, suck a dick. But this guy was faking the funk, right? And supposedly he was a pro or an amateur boxer. Yeah, he's like, yeah, bro, I fought in featherweight and and he was just some washed up loser that was in there. It was funny because this guy was married to like some square, like some like, I don't know. I don't know why, like I'm thinking Mormon. That's the first thing that comes to mind, but he was married to some like total square chick that like didn't understand that he was like a criminal. And he'd read me these he'd be like, hey bro, this is the rep, the guy that I pretty much went heads up with, and then the whole tank jumped me. Except for one guy who I'm in contact with. I'm going to try to get him on the show so that you guys can hear his side of the story about what happened. He's the only guy that didn't jump in and beat me up. But he also didn't help me. He was just looking at me like, and I love you, bro. You're probably watching my shit, and I know it's not your place. What are you going to do? You're not Rambo. I mean, I would have done it, but that's just me. I'm an idiot. That's probably why I've been to prison 3 times, and that was your first time in jail. And this guy would read me these letters. The rep would read me these letters about his, that his wife would send him. And they were absurd. They're absurd. It was like the most inbred weirdo shit it's like, hey there. Whatever the guy's name was. She's like, today I was out on the farm. Daddy killed 6 sheep. And I just got to tell you that I don't know if I can be with you anymore. Daddy said that you were into drugs, and I ain't into any guys that are into taking no drugs. She talked like that. Like, who the fuck talks like that? She talked like she, rides a stagecoach to work or something. It was really weird, I'm probably not explaining her right. She was like one of these like all-American, like wholesome farm people. You're a farm person. And she was like, didn't seem to understand that the guy that she was dating was like some criminal. And she divorced him while he was in there. And so this guy was just miserable. Anyway, the point is all these guys were miserable. I know that went nowhere, and you guys are probably like, what a waste. Just tell the story, fucking storyteller. Point is I was generous. I gave these guys drugs. I gave them food. I consoled them about their shitty, horrible lives. And ultimately, they jumped me and they jacked me. I never got my dope. And this kid, the one that would say that he thought his girlfriend was sucking someone's dick, someone named Rob. Yeah, I think she's sucking Robbie's dick. Again, man, that's pretty specific. How do you know that? She's like, I don't know. Do you ever just feel that? Do I ever feel that someone specifically is getting their dick sucked by my chick? Not really. I mean, I guess sometimes you feel like you're getting cheated on, but not dick sucking, and not someone specific like Robbie. Weirdo. I think he knew, and he just wasn't telling. And furthermore, none of these guys were ever on the phone with anyone. They're yeah, man, I got an old lady waiting for me. Yeah, she's riding it out, dog. You're never on the phone. What do you mean? You never get a letter. So how's she riding? Oh. And they won't say anything. Oh. Oh, what? Oh, and that's it. So anyway, this kid, after I'd gotten jumped, remember I got jumped by Riddler. I got jumped by the male stripper guy. And then this little kid came and grabbed my arms like this, right? So he was like holding me like that. And then the gay stripper guy came and kicked me as hard as he could in the ribs, and I broke my ribs. And now I went to federal prison. I got beat up there. You guys are probably like, gee. I never got beat up once like that on the other 2 times I went to prison. I have no idea what happened this time. Maybe it was karma, for all the fucked up stuff I did throughout my whole life. I mean, or maybe it was God telling me, hey, motherfucker, you don't ever want to wind up back in a place like this. You have a kid now. Grow up. And I was still deep in my addiction. But I'm in the drunk tank after getting beat up at Victorville, and I see this kid. And he's just sitting there snoring. And I'm just like, and guys, I really, anyone that knows me in person, people probably say that I'm violent or that I get in fights a lot or whatever. And I was not always like that. I was definitely not like that in high school. I did get in fights a lot in high school. What am I trying to say here? What I'm trying to say is that prison made me more violent. Because I remember looking at him. He's laying down on this little metallic bench, right? He's sleeping. He's got his arms in his shirt like this, right? So, it's a super classic move when you're in the drunk tank, right? Little kid shit where you're in your little cocoon, just and then you wake up and you realize you're in jail. That's the worst. I remember looking at him, and so a normal person would look at someone like this, even if they've done them wrong, and they probably wouldn't do what I did. So I look at him and I'm like, oh man, I'm going to kick this fucking dude in his face right now. And there's there's people up, there's people on the phone. And I was like, hey, called a town hall in the drunk tank. I was like, hey, I'm going to beat this dude up right now. He was sleeping as I'm saying this. I was like, so everybody get out of the way. Now, a lot of these guys have never been to jail before. Santa Barbara has Isla Vista, which is the college town there. And they got all the kids from UCSB, and then they also have all the city college kids that party out at Isla Vista. Then you got high school kids that party with college kids. Probably a lot of statutory rape shit going on out there. There's high school girls will go out there and party, and there's probably a lot of college guys that have sex with them. You hear about that happening quite a bit. It's a big problem out there. In fact, and there's a lot of STDs. The nickname for IV is HIV. Cute little play on words. Where are you going to go this weekend? HIV? Down. And then people go there. So there's a lot of weird, creepy shit going. College dudes creeping on little high school girls, which I've always fundamentally been against. I mean, I don't know. There's just something there's something disturbing when you go out to Ivy, when you go party out there and you see 8 college guys on one super wasted 15-year-old girl. There's a lot of fights out there as well. It's just kind of a toxic environment. So a lot of guys go to jail for statutory rape, for fighting, for drunk in public. So you get a lot of guys in the Santa Barbara County Jail, drunk tank at least, that have never been to jail. And they're petrified. They're sitting there with their hand cupped over their asshole because they think they're going to get raped. And you're like, what are you doing? And then they cover their mouth too. Somehow covering their mouth and asshole is going to prevent them from getting raped. It's hey bro, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. I don't think you holding your hand there is going to do anything. And they're just So these guys were I was yeah, I'm gonna fight this guy right here. Now I had stitches. I don't know. Can you see up there? That's where the stitches were, right there, split open right there. Still had fresh stitches. I probably look kind of scary, but to be completely real, because of the broken ribs and eating mass consumption of what are they called? Honey buns. Like 800 calories for one little, pastry thing. These jumbo honey buns. And I would just sit in my bunk and just scarf them down, all fat, beat off when I could. I was disgusting. I smelled like a fat masturbator, if you are one, you know what I mean. So I kind of looked around. I was like in bad shape. So this guy's like sleeping, got a shirt on. Now I'm a right hook guy, as you can tell. I mean, I lost a fight with my refrigerator. But if I really am mad at someone, I go for the kick. It's a classic. And you can really fuck someone off by kicking them. So I'm a convict. I give the courtesy to everybody that's in the drunk tank. Like, hey, I'm going to take off on this dude right here. Nobody asks why. There's a lot of college kids like, what does take off mean? They're like, he's going to fight him. They're like, oh, all right, bro. You do what you got to do. I'm like, all right. So I'm like stretching. It's all like super corny. I'm like, I'm like stretching out. I'm like, all right. And I just run up to this guy. He's like snoring. And I kick him as hard as I can in the fucking face. I'm not going to let this guy bitch me out like that. I mean, look, I am a bitch. I've done a lot of bad things in jail. And I've not always been the most solid convict. But I'm not going to let that kind of shit happen. Sorry. I don't know. Felt like he had it coming. The guy held my hands up and broke my ribs. It's like just the poetic justice of it. Now he's sleeping in the drunk tank. I just run and I kick him as hard as I can. Now I don't have laces in my shoes, but still kick him. Bam! Right? He wakes up. Ah! And you can tell that he was drunk or something because he's moaning. Ah! Now he has his hands inside, like I said, like this. So he can't really do anything. He's just kind of like, and I just start stomping on his fucking head. I'm like, yeah, you remember me, you little fucking asshole? Ugh! Spit on him. He was wearing this like Air Jordan shirt. It's like a mesh shirt or something. No, what those shirts that are like muscle shirts. Karina would be pissed if she knew this is the reason that we'll get to this. So he was wearing like one of those, I don't know, those like Air Jordan shirts that like, are muscular. They like it's like that material that like clings onto you. And I remember it just got like I kicked him first. So like the first kick I got a good one. I hit him with like the toes of my shoe. Now my laces are out, but they were like these really expensive pro model. They didn't even have a company. Zach had given them to me. They were like some really expensive shoes. There's a picture of me somewhere. It's probably on Instagram or something, where it shows me getting interviewed, and I'm wearing Jeff's hoodie. I'm wearing this like a hood with a bunch of green stripes. I'm wearing shorts. I have my legs crossed. And I'm wearing these black shoes. They're like high top black with like these white, they're like these weird slip on high tops. So even though they didn't have shoelaces, these things like really packed like a hard kick. And I kicked him that first time, and then I stomped on him at least 3 or 4 times to the point where that Air Jordan shirt was just like covered in blood, I mean, he was bleeding. Now, finally he gets his hands out, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't really lose my cool that often. One of those people that when I do, I see red. And there's nothing you can do to talk me down. Like, that's it. And that's for sure from prison, Jeff told me that when I'd gotten out, and so did my parents, and so did a couple other people that had known me from a long time, so there's a point of reference and they could compare. They said after I did that 5-year term, I don't know, I'd kind of like blank out in rage. And that's what happened. And I kicked him. And like, so now he's disoriented. He puts his hands up. And I was like, what's up? And I charge him like a ram. And I don't headbutt him, but I like charge him full speed. And I hit his face like with the top of my head. If you can imagine, there's like a bench. So when I ram him like that, he falls. And I just start giving him body shots, right? And he's yelling. Now, this commotion has made the guards somehow aware that this is going on. Plus, there's a camera up in the drunk tank. And so it started out where I kicked him, right? But he's super bloody. I think I had hit him, the first time I kicked him was just straight up, like, with, like, the balls of with my toes, dead center. And I think that's really what made him leak, because blood was just leaking out of his nose. And then I hit him I kicked him a few more times. And then when I rammed him, I started hitting him with just body shots. I was hitting him in the kidneys. And I was like, huh? You're not so fucking tough without your friends, are you? And he's like, stop it. I was like, hey, you're a fucking bitch. And I just keep hitting him. Before I know it, the door opens to the drunk tank, and I'm getting, cops pulling me off him. I'm in this blank place of rage or whatever, right? And I'm just thrashing. And I guess by mistake, I kind of like elbowed the cop a little bit. So they dragged me outside of the drunk tank, and I start getting sprayed. I'm not even doing anything, but I guess I was thrashing, and they thought I was like trying to fight them. So they end up spraying me. That's like the fucking third time I've been sprayed, like in this, I got sprayed in, remember I just got sprayed in the hole when I got jumped the second fucking time. So now I'm sprayed again, but this time I wasn't getting jumped. This time I won the fight. This time I beat the fuck out of that guy, and he deserved it. To this day, I don't know what that guy's name is, but if I ever see you again, I probably won't do that again. But I'm glad that I did that. I don't know. I'm definitely not advocating for violence, but in that particular instance, I feel like I did the right thing. That motherfucker deserved it. And I don't take it back, you stupid bitch. That's what you get. You don't bite the hand that feeds you. So they sprayed me. They put me in this, I don't know how to describe it. It's it's this little, it's like a phone booth, right? And it has all these bail bond numbers on it. And you get free 5-minute phone calls. So I'm sprayed. I'm not happy about that. Getting pepper sprayed is not one of those things that gets any easier. Every time that it happens, it definitely sucks just as bad as it did the time before. This particular time, though, I didn't get beat up. I was beating somebody up. So it's a little different, because what really sucks about getting pepper sprayed is that when I got pepper sprayed or maced at Victorville, when they jumped me in the hole, I was already all beat up and shit. So the pepper spray goes into your wounds, and it's just torturous. This time, it just made my lungs burn. It made tears stream down my face. And I don't know why they sprayed me after I was fighting. I guess, like I said, because I was thrashing. But anyway, they're like, yep, you're going to the hole. And I was like, it fucking checks out. Whatever, not even, I don't even care. It was so worth it just to get that vindication to beat this fucker up. So I end up calling Karina. It was funny because she has no idea that I'm doused in mace and shit. And I call her, and I hadn't talked to her for a long time. And she's like, baby. I was like, hey, honey. And she's like, you're back at Santa Barbara? I was like, yeah. And she's like, oh my God, that's so exciting. I know you have court tomorrow, and I'm going to be there. I was like, yeah, I miss you. And, we had our little whatever. We hadn't talked for a long time because I've been at the hole at Victorville. And now I was going to the hole at Santa Barbara County Jail, but I didn't even have the heart to tell her. I was just so happy to hear her voice. A lot of what I went through, and I'm telling you, we haven't even scratched the surface. When I get to Sentinel, that's the gnarliest fucking prison I've ever been to. That place was so horrible. That's when I got in all those riots. That's when they were mixing the PC, GP shit. And we'll get into all that. But think about everything I've been through up until this point. I got jumped at Santa Barbara County. I go to San Bernardino. I was the rep. We end up smashing out that south side. I got a little softball, Rosie O'Donnell punch in on him. That was cool. Then we got in my first riot the day that Nico was born. Then I go to Victorville and I get jumped for no reason. I definitely didn't deserve that. And then I end up getting jumped in the hole. So I get jumped twice while I'm in. So total of 3 jumpings so far. And then I beat this dude up right in the drunk tank. that guy didn't even get a shot in on me, honestly. Like, I mean, well, I'm not saying that I'm ultra tough for kicking the dude while he was fucking sleeping, but, you know, we did go heads up after that. I just gave him a bunch of body shots. He didn't do anything. I was really mad. And now I'm maced, and they end up taking me to the hole. So, you know, I see classification after all that. And, I mean, the cop had already told me I was going to the hole. Classification's like, Leone, you get in a fight the first 10 minutes that you're back in our custody. And I was like, well, how do you know that I got in a fight? All I know is that I got pepper sprayed. You know, I mean, I'm definitely not admitting that I was fighting. I don't know what you're talking about. And like, they checked my hands. My shit was all like, not horrible because you know, I wasn't punching the guy's face. I kicked the guy's face, but they were swollen, you know, and they wrote me up for fighting. Plus it was on camera. And they ended up putting me in the hole there, which is okay. I never really mind the hole at Santa Barbara County Jail because they have these little speakers in the ceiling and they play the radio, and you don't get radio in other parts of the jail. So, you know, that's the one good thing. And this particular place had this hole that I was in, it's in Santa Barbara County Jail. It's called isolation. And before they had me just because I didn't want to go to PC. So I was just this time I was there for disciplinary purposes, but this time, remember the first time I was in Front Central or whatever, this time I was actually like in ISO. So I was in isolation and it had a phone in it. So that was cool. So it had a phone and it played music on this little speaker that was in the ceiling. So, you know, all of that was okay. Plus that first night that I was there, I recognized someone else that was in ISO. He's like, hey, Leone, what's up, man? This was August 2nd, 2018. My birthday is August 3rd. So I'm about to turn 35. Back then, I think I was turning, this was 2018, I was turning 33. And, you know, I ran into somebody that I knew, you know, because they cuff you, and I was maced and I'd been traveling, you know, that day, and I was just tired, but I saw someone that I know and he was like, hey, Leone, what's up? I was like, hey, and he told me in sign language that he had something for me, and I was hoping that it was heroin, but it was actually a joint. It was a stick of weed, which was still cool. And he also shot a lighter to me. So it was like a lighter that was cut in half. And, you know, it doesn't have any fluid. So what you have to do is you have to get, you know, a Q-tip, and you stretch out the cotton on it just thin enough where you spark this little, you know, the whatever the fuck it's called on a lighter. Why can't I think of it? Not the sparkler, but, you know, you go to press the thing down and then you catch a spark on the Q-tip. And I was able to smoke a joint. And I remember being in the hole. This is after I got maced. This is my first night there. I was smoking a joint. You're supposed to like blow into the vent, but I just didn't even give a fuck. I was like, whatever. You know, it's only one joint. I don't have anything else on me. I remember right after I smoked it, I don't know how they knew, but you hear, God damn it, Leone. Been here for fucking 4 hours. You're already stinking the place up with cannabis. I was like, it wasn't me, sir. And I'm so stoned. You know, I smoked a whole stick to my head. I remember passing out that night, just happy that I was able to hear Nico's voice, or Karina's voice on the phone. And, you know, and I heard Nico crying in the background, and it was bittersweet. I was happy to be back at Santa Barbara County Jail because I was going to be able to get a visit, you know? I'd gotten all that disciplinary trouble the time that I was there before, but it doesn't carry over like that. It's discretionary up to the captain. For whatever reason, my visiting restrictions weren't off. So I was going to get a visit. And the next morning, I was going to go to court. You know, I knew that because Karina's the one that told me that when I called her. And it was kind of ironic because I was going to court August 3rd, my 33rd birthday. And I had already signed a plea agreement for 3 years in state prison. So on my 33rd birthday, August 3rd, that's what I was going to do, was to go get sentenced to my 3 years because I'd already signed for it. And we will get into the rest of this in the next video because I have to take a shit. And it's making me very uncomfortable, and I can't keep going like this. I just can't go on. So, probably post another one tonight. Palabra.